got the insights, always gets it right. Sean's the wild card with a laugh in the night. On Folklore, they banter about the latest fight. FOLKLoor Podcast, stories non-stop, entertainment, gossip, and tech's new crop. Loud opinions, like a punk rock pop. Marcus, Jason, Sean, they never drop.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the FOLKLoor Podcast. I'm King Ginger, and I'm here with Jason Leglock Farley, and then Sean Voyage, the core members of the LOOR team that keep everything running and operational. Today we have a great show for you. Today we have GOTHIX, the one and only GOTHIX. She'll be on to talk about everything that she's been doing, and we're going to be talking about the importance of arts and culture and entertainment and the need for that. But before we do that, real quick, Sean, Jason, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
You look great.
My granddaughter's in town, and so I'm just happy as a clam. Big smiley clam.
So she's already been on her first flight.
She did great.
Wow.
Yep. Crossed the ocean. It's good stuff.
And Sean, how about you, man?
Really good. I think it's the greatest week ever. How about that for an answer?
What's specifically?
I think
some of the news.
My favorite part was hanging out with Roman Medeiros and Tony Roman. So it was like a Roman on Roman yesterday in Huntington Beach, California. And
so they were actually Roman was on the podcast last week, and then because of that interaction and stuff, you actually wound up going to meet him.
Yeah, met him in
stuff.
person for the first time off the Zoom, and we did a test shoot, and then we drove to Basilicos, which is the famous battleground where Tony Roman stood up to Governor Newsom and everybody else during the pandemic. And he's the guy who's famous. He was on CNN. He called out Chris Cuomo right on CNN. And he's the guy who put up a sign at his restaurant and said, if you have a mask or you're vaccinated, you can't come in. So anyways, that was super fun yesterday. And then the news. I heard more things in the news. Did you hear about the news?
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff in the news. The first thing, real quick, before we get into everything else, is I have a South Park update. Supposedly the final South Park update. Today is the scheduled day of the premiere of South Park. It is airing because they have signed a deal with Paramount for $1.5 billion. And I think that gets them to 27. So it's a 2-year 27, like or so it's like
27 episodes.
Yeah, it's no, the year 20.
The year 27.
So it's a shorter term, and then they have the option to renew it after that. So it's super fast. $1.5 billion. This makes Matt Stone and Trey Parker one of the wealthiest animators of all time. Probably up there. I think they surpassed. They're in the billionaire category of comedians, beating Jerry Seinfeld now. So congratulations to Matt Stone and Trey Parker. You can finally pay off all the debt from your Mexican restaurant. And in other news, Colbert's manager James Dixon knew a month in advance of announcement of the Colbert Report being canceled. That's a month in advance, knowing that it was going to be canceled and not telling Colbert, right? Is that
this is according to Leslie, what was his name? The anchor. According to the anchor, that's what sources say. If that's true, that squashes the argument that he got fired because of what he said about the Trump lawsuit. That throws that out the door. And the sad reality is, Stephen, your show sucked. You're wasting money. And in any other business, it wouldn't matter what business you were in, restaurant business, tech, hotels, selling cars, you lose that kind of money, your business ends. It's as simple as that. So it's not your birthright to have a show and just lose money.
Yeah,
Can you
and
guys get that message to Stephen Colbert?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Can you just get that message to Stephen and his
Yeah,
buddies?
I was going to say that I think actually that I agree with the firing of Stephen Colbert. I don't agree with the ending of the show. I think that could be restructured in such a way that's economical and bring on a better late night host.
It could still
but
happen.
we already it could still. I think there might be enough outrage they might recover the show. That would be help. And then one other story is Palantir, the mysterious company, nobody really knows what they do, having something to do with data, funded by Peter Thiel, works with the government. They are looking to remake Hollywood with patriotism, meaning it's Palantir meets Ayn Rand. Sorry, libertarians don't.
They're very sensitive when you pronounce your name wrong.
Yeah, I know. So, what that to me, that my initial thought to that was like, wow, that sounds like a propaganda machine.
Yeah, if there ever was one, that's what it would sound like.
Yeah, 100%. So, that makes me nervous. Like my initial thought to that is just nervousness. But also I think there seems to be this mentality of, if we're going to make movies, we need to go with like whatever the hottest property is, whatever company, whatever individual, and we need to get behind movies with the hottest property, hottest individual sort of thing. And that just never works. It tends to never pan out. And I think it's probably going to be a bunch of big budget, highly inflated movie productions, possibly with good stories that I really am excited about, in like Civil War stuff, Revolutionary War movies. We need a lot more of those sort of things. I think is really great. But yeah, just I think it's just, it's the same trap. Jason, you're really good at doing this commentary, but it's basically government meets it's using movies to gain government power.
Yeah,
it seems to
it's that same idea over again, where you say we need to build up the trust in the military. We need to build up the trust in America again. Let's make some movies. And unfortunately, what always happens is you get one slate of movies.
It's Donald Duck fighting Hitler. That's what it is. It's those cartoons.
When historically what happens is you get one slate out of that, and then it creates new pathways for the left to take over. That's what has happened in the last 100 years with that sort of mentality, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it seems
because
like
the pipeline isn't created for the conservative artists.
Yeah, well, it seems like the left has gained all this political power because of their movies, so we're going to make political movies, and that's how we'll gain power. But they're skipping the whole 40, 50, 100 years of just normal storytelling, in which they could subtly insert agendas and remove, marriage from the end of movies, jump right to adultery and affairs, right? Like, so it's like that sort of subtle deconstruction over decades that really built the power. It wasn't the Michael Moore documentary, right? It wasn't the Michael Moore documentary that suddenly turned everything left in media. It was
because first they had to control the Academy Awards to be able to give him that the award exactly that then turned it into something people would watch. And so
that's exactly right. So okay, I think it's time to bring on our guest. You might know her from the film on LOOR TV, GOTHIX, and an amazing documentary directed by Graham Wilson. Here, welcome the one and only GOTHIX.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on the stream.
That was smooth how you just slipped right onto the stage.
Impeccable timing.
That was really nice.
Yep. I practiced.
The blocking was perfect.
Now, I was gonna say welcome to the show, but you've been on the show before, and you've had Jason and Marcus on your show before.
Correct. That is correct. Yes, it's been a while though.
So you guys are like old pals, and I'm just the new guy.
Yeah. Who are you again?
Sean Voyage.
Very cool. Well, excited to be here. Excited to chat.
Well, thank you. We know you have a busy schedule. I've seen it. It's super busy. So what has been going on since?
Real quick before we do that, do you hear music?
Oh, I do. I did hear something. What was that? Is that electric guitar?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. It's time for Jason's Trivia Lesson.
All
I'm
right.
afraid.
I've got a good one this week.
That was a great crossfade.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
There's no fade on that. Our listeners know.
GOTHIX, just so you know, for Christmas, we're all pitching in to get Marcus a fader. So if you could.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this week we've got video game. It's a video game trivia question. So, as everyone knows, the NES launched in America in 1985 with 17 cartridge games available for purchase. We all remember that, right?
It's more than the Switch 2.
Yeah, I knew it was 17. I knew it was something between 16 and 18. Yeah.
Yeah. But 2 years before that, in 1983, they launched in Japan, and the plan was to have one game available. They had licensed an American cartoon character to feature in the game, but there was a last-minute delay in the license contract, so they replaced the main character with an Italian plumber and the main villain with a gorilla. And Mario and Donkey Kong were born because of a contract delay. Eventually, though, they were able to secure the license and release the original game. The question today is, what was the cartoon character?
Now, I know this answer, one, because your answer is in the form of the video that I had to download. But I actually knew this answer. This is one I actually knew, but I won't say it.
I suspected you might know this one because you're a big Nintendo history guy.
I will not know this answer.
You want to guess? You want to guess?
This is an American character?
American cartoon character.
Ooh, good question. That's a great question.
Mickey Mouse.
Good guess, but no.
A little older. The character's a little older. That's a hint.
Well, but does anybody know how old Mickey Mouse really is?
I don't think mice live that long.
No.
Yeah, that's true. He's old enough. He's post-puberty because he loves Minnie, but so we know that much. But he's got such a high voice. It's that awkward time his voice hasn't dropped yet.
Oh, you're right. He's right around 13. Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of I've never even thought has never occurred to me as to how old is Mickey. I thought you were talking about in terms of like IP law.
No.
We know that he's more than 75 years old. So
Why the show is so great is we ask the tough questions.
we ask the tough questions. Has Mickey graduated high school yet?
So GOTHIX, I think just take a couple more guesses. Let's just see, because I feel like you just by your opening question, I feel like you're already getting warm.
I don't know, man.
It is a man. It is a man.
It is a man. Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. It's
like
an old man.
Yep. Here you go. You're getting so warm right now.
Not in the Disney universe.
No, it's not in the Disney universe.
Okay, good. That's good.
I was going to say something so inappropriate, and I forgot we're on a podcast.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give me the answer.
Okay.
Well, you got to wait till the end of the show. I'll give the answer at the end of the show.
All right.
We'll see if anyone in the chat can get it.
That's great. Hey,
I got to increase the watch time algorithm, Vanessa.
I have a very important.
You're just going to Google it.
Don't Google it. I have a very important question before we continue today's show. GOTHIX, as you know, I'm sure you're a big fan. Previously on the show, we've had, oh my gosh, we've had Bono, we've had Madonna, we've had Cher, we've had Sade, and I made the mistake of calling some of them by their real name. Especially Bono got really touchy with us, and so I just want to ask you now: should we call you by the GOTHIX name, or is it okay if we call you by your real name every now and then?
You can call me by whatever you want. You can even make up a new name if you'd like.
Okay, I'm going to try to do that.
Don't do that.
You just confuse your audience.
No, I'm not going to confuse. No, they're already confused. Trust me.
It's so great to have you, Elvira.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Well, anyways, that's good because I'd hate to offend any more of our great guests. Sting was really the worst, though. We didn't even finish the interview.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah. Anyways, okay.
All right, Vanessa. So we've had you on the show. We've talked about the GOTHIX documentary and stuff before, but for any new listeners, and we actually have a lot of listeners right now. And so, can you explain sort of that documentary, the process of doing that, why you did it, and so what happened that led to that?
Yeah. So the documentary was totally a by chance thing. So the director, Graham, found one of my videos on YouTube, and he was like, I want to make a documentary about this chick. And then he messaged me, and I just left him on red for several weeks. And then he kept pestering me. And eventually I decided, all right, fine, let's do the documentary. But the too long didn't read is as a left-leaning content creator, I got canceled back in 2019 for stating a very benign opinion on the interwebs that pissed people off. And then that resulted in me making YouTube content, just commentary, because, when people tell me I'm not allowed to have a voice about something, I tend to speak more on said topic. That's just what I do. And Graham wanted to just make a documentary about my journey. That's pretty much the summarized version.
Yeah, no, first off, it's a phenomenal documentary. Really, really is. It's absolutely incredible. It's won film festival awards, and I think there might be a lot of new viewers on the show today. So if you don't mind, I'd like to actually play the documentary trailer.
Sure.
I know I said I wouldn't, but I really think it sets up a lot of what we're about to do today. So if you guys want to, when did this documentary? Here it is. Never mind.
December.
No need for filler. No need for filler. I got it.
There is no redemption. There is no conversation. It is whatever we say about you is truth, and you're done.
One friend did it with us. He heard our side of the story, and he was just like, oh, wow, this is completely understandable. I see where you guys are coming from. Then he writes us later on, we weren't the right type of black friend.
Breaks on that for a while. I don't know how much out of this time I need right now. I need to clear my head. I haven't been feeling myself. I think it's time for me to take a break. Like, I just feel like I'm kind of floating without any purpose right now.
They brought up my boyfriend. They wanted to know if he was white, because if he was, that would have made sense to them of why I was acting like this.
Seeing people automatically say, okay, the reason you have a problem with this is because you're racist is an issue for me. I said, we need to stop doing this. I'm talking in a matter of 24 hours, I became...
Over the course of 4 days, I had more racism towards me from other people that looked like me than in my entire existence on this planet. What's the next step once they realize I can't, attack someone on social media and make them disappear? So what do we got to do now? Is
physical assault, okay?
And I just see like these pools of blood. And I'm like, okay, I'm panicking now.
You're
Yep.
muted.
There it is. So you can watch that on LOOR.tv. If you go to LOOR.tv, you can subscribe. You can watch that phenomenal film. Thank you guys for allowing us to host that film. It's truly incredible. Probably, honestly, I think it's one of my favorite top 3 for sure of the stuff that we have on the program.
Well, and my daughter, who was a senior at the time, watched it, and she came. She just said to me, "Dad, everybody my age needs to see this." And so she hosted a watch party at our house with all of her friends from class, and they all watched it together and talked about it. And and her comment was, "You don't think that something you say on the internet has real world consequences for a real person." And
Yeah.
so yeah, it was really impactful.
That's
for our
encouraging. Wow. That's cool.
I want to say, I don't want to make you blush, but I want to say that I also think it's one of the best documentaries because it's so honest, and Graham captured a real moment in time. I don't think any of this was planned, right? The documentary, if I'm correct, was really going in a totally different direction. Is that correct?
I mean, I don't really know what was going on in his brain when he was doing it. So, but I know that it's crazy because a lot of the videos that you saw in the trailer, I was just recording. Some of them was live videos that I was doing to my dwindling audience. Some of the videos, I had a Patreon at the time and I was uploading behind the scenes things. I don't even think anyone was watching what I was recording. I was just venting. And so Graham literally sifted through hundreds of hours of my footage to compile that together, which, I mean, that guy's a madman. Yeah, but I mean, it came out great.
I thought so. The thing I really was impressed with was it was so authentic and it was really raw and you were really honest and none of it was theatrics. And a lot of times you see people, quote unquote, being vulnerable on camera and they're crying and there's all this drama and theatrics. And it's like those moments that are captured with you are so real and so honest. And that as a viewer, even if I don't know you, I look at this and go, this person is being so authentic and so real. And it's not for show and you're not trying to be vulnerable on camera. It's really real. And I just wanted to commend you for that because and Graham as a director, right? Because you had to have a level of trust with Graham and Graham had to have a connection with you for you to allow that. But I just wanted to commend you. I think it was good to hear that echo of myself. That was
sorry. That was my fault, obviously.
You sound good.
It was a nice effect. It's like, oh, recall. It's really nice. Do it again. No, but I just thought that was really cool. And we just need more of that, really being real. And the thing that really I walked away from this documentary was that I think you're a great role model and we really need that. We've got a lot of cartoon characters out in the world right now pretending to be role models or wanting to be, but you really demonstrated grace and strength and resilience and all of that. And that's just being a real human, but you really came out the other end as a strong person and someone that if I had a daughter or kids, I would be, yeah, you have to watch this. This is an example of just being a good human being and being honest and being kind. So I wanted to commend you for that. And also Graham's not here to hear this, but commend him as well. So
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's I want to kind of go back in time. So this, when you were streaming on the greatest streaming platform known to man, Twitch. Did you get your start doing video game streaming? Was that primarily what you did? How much commentary, political commentary?
There was no commentary at all. It was just me. I considered myself a variety streamer. So I did video games, but the thing that started growing my audience was when I started doing like live improv. So I would have a Discord that my viewers would go into the voice chat and we would role play. So I would have these various green screen backdrops behind me. So I'd be in one scene, I'd be a fortune teller. The next scene, I'd be in the doctor's office, and we would just role play back and forth. And that's really what started growing my channel. It wasn't really the gaming. But it's crazy that you say that, because I always thought Twitch was like the best platform. And now when I'm looking at it from like a bird's eye view, oh my goodness, I'm not shocked.
Yeah. You can look back and go, oh yeah, that's how we got there. But the reason, wow, my microphone.
Did you break it? You broke it.
It did.
He doesn't know his own strength.
It's a hand mic now.
So, Sean, why don't you fill in the dead air, please?
We'll do it live.
Yeah,
We'll do it live. We'll just do it live.
I wanted to say, Victor, one of our listeners, had a question. He says, I don't know if this has already been asked, but has any other streamer gone through the same thing? If so, have you all connected?
Oh, okay. As far as people connecting with me, this happens all the time with content creators. All the time, especially on Twitch. Twitch is a very progressive platform. And so like the progressive mindset is one that sort of like thinks, hey, if you have a platform, you should use your platform in the way that we think you should use it. You're not really a creative anymore. You have to do what we want you to do and say what we want you to say. And obviously, if you step outside that box, you're going to upset a lot of people. And then you get like this cancel culture mob and the thing with Twitch streamers in particular is a lot of the people sort of run in the same sponsorship groups. So you'll have people sponsored by like G Fuel or like some gaming chairs and all that stuff. And so then you'll get these campaigns of just reaching out to their sponsors to get them dropped. So it's a very common thing, but I've had two people reach out to me and ask me for advice. Otherwise, they sort of just, I think the majority, and this is the sad part, the majority of streamers that go through this end up caving and they do exactly what the mob wants. Yeah. Very rarely do you see them actually push back. And I think part of that is because you very quickly get labeled as a certain type of content creator at that point. Right. I am now labeled as like this right-wing blob. And
you want to be the guy that the Twitch staff all sing happy birthday to, right? Like song, right?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Like that's exactly the sort of environment that Twitch has created. But the reason I bring it up is because you started out doing internet improv comedy, a little bit of video games here and there. And now you're working with very closely with Eric July, Ripaverse, that sort of thing, doing political commentary. Mm-hmm. And I don't think your story is unique in the sense that a lot of the main political commentary that's happening, from unfortunately people like Hassan, but also people like Osmond Gold, who is the World of Warcraft streamer. They're doing major political commentary and stuff like that now, and it all started with, well, we're gonna doing video games and comedy and variety, and then it slowly shifted. Mm-hmm. And it's an interesting model for me when I look at like, okay, how do you build culture and influence? Well, you start by playing video games. Mm-hmm. You start with entertainment as the core function of the goal, and there's not a desire to get the political sort of power that comes with that. It just kind of happens as you gain influence mm-hmm. through the other things. And so I think a lot of times conservatives in general, we look at video games or we look at comedy or stand-up comedy, and specifically with comedy and stand-up comedy, and we look at, well, let's say something like Colbert, the absolute dumpster fire that's Stephen Colbert. And so our response to Colbert is not a Conan O'Brien, it's Greg Gutfeld, mm-hmm. right? Which is a political version on our side of a comedian. And I don't think, like, especially looking relevantly through the how Twitch streamers have gained all this political influence, and they have gained a lot of political influence. Like, I mean, Aiden Ross live streamed with Trump during the campaign, brought him a Cybertruck and all that sort of stuff. But it never started there. And so what are your thoughts in terms of like movies and entertainment and their importance?
I think they're so important. I think, well, first of all, I think you mentioned Asmongold and people that make all this political commentary, and that was never in their wheelhouse to begin with. I think a lot of these content creators, and this was true with me, is that you sort of slowly start to realize that the political world and the entertainment world intersect more than people think.
And I'd say more than it should.
More than it should. Right. But like, let's say if you just see it like a video game, you're watching a video game, you're playing it, and there's some like really woke stuff in it. And now you get into this, okay, I need to critique these woke things. Why are they in here?
Yeah, and that's how it started.
And that's how it starts. And now it's like, oh, you're coming off as right wing because now you're commenting on the woke stuff. And it's like, well, you guys made it political by injecting it in, so but aside from that, I think, entertainment is so important because, listen, I think it's great that people speak their mind, they stand on truth, but I think there has to be more than just, commentary, because we have to be entertained, and entertainment is part of culture. And sometimes you want to escape and you don't want to sit there and listen to someone blab for 3 hours. You just want to, play something, listen to something. And again, like, culture just influences a lot of the ways that people think. It's really like an entire worldview can be built from culture. Like, looking back at where I am now and what I used to consume, I'm just like, oh, no wonder I ended up that way with all the things I was listening to.
Right. Yeah. No.
One of my favorite. Go ahead.
You go, Jason.
Yeah, okay.
So quiet.
One of my favorite C.S. Lewis quotes is he says, "People don't make decisions based on reason; they make decisions based on beauty, and then they backfill with reasons." Right? They're just, as people, we're attracted to beauty, and we say, "Oh, I want to be a part of that. I want to join myself to beauty," as Dante says. And then they come up with the reasons as backfill, and then they say, well, this is why I made this choice. But really, we're beauty drawn creatures, right? And I think the right, because we're in such a responsive position or responsive mindset all of the time, that we end up sounding shrill because we don't come in and say, well, here is the story, here's the beauty, here's the creativity that I want to put forward, and then let people backfill with reasons behind it.
Yeah, we don't want to, you take a game like Death Stranding, for example, which is probably one of the most pro-life video games ever made. But it's not a pro-life mess. Like, it's not like there's nothing, it's not about abortion or anything like that, but just through the story of the game, you go, man, this is amazing, right? Like, he's caring for this child that's basically in a womb, and everyone says that's a tool, you should just get rid of it. And he's like, it's more than, it's more than a tool, and all this sort of stuff. And so you have games like that, which obviously present some sort of political. It's impossible to escape politics.
Yeah, right.
But it's done in such a way that it's not like over the top or heavy-handed like Last of Us 2. Right? So there are ways in which the entertainment and stuff can be used as a powerful mechanism to get a point across, even more so than just basically preaching to the choir of those, and it just destroys stories. And that's what's been so fascinating. So you mentioned Asmongold and whatnot, just to see the gaming culture just has really been one of the last bastions of protection against that sort of woke stuff, at least in terms of the audience. The creators, not so much, but the audience has really been vigilant in fighting against that sort of stuff. How did the video game industry escape that woke sort of just general well, there's nothing we can do about it, and the users tend to actually be fighting it very, very powerful, successfully too. It's destroyed a lot of games.
I mean, I haven't bought a game in a long time just because I don't want to fund crap.
Okay, it's not because of piracy. It's just
no, not because of piracy. No. But I'm a little bit of. I don't actually think it's great that the gaming community is making waves and pushing back on it, but I'm also a little bit cynical because I know that they're going to be in this perpetual state of fighting against the woke machine because everyone has their different interpretations of what woke is. And you see this a lot within gaming. It's like, oh, why are you calling this game woke? I just want to enjoy the story. And it's like a bunch of woke stuff, but to them, it's not that bad. So it's like, as you said, you can't really escape politics and you can't really escape the worldviews and the beliefs that these developers inject into video games. But I do think that you'll be able to, I think there's a fine line. Like you can still make a story, a pro-life story, whatever, and have just a good story.
Right.
You know, and that can save the whole thing, even if someone's playing it who believes in abortion or whatever. And the same can go for like the other side of the argument. Give me a good game and don't beat me over the head with your propaganda, and I might give it a shot.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. Pro-choice people, pro-abortion people play Death Stranding. Pro-life people play Death Stranding. I don't need a political message, and when I play Balatro. Right. I don't even know what that is. Okay. It's a card game. But but yeah, it's like I don't need a political message in card games and solitaire, like that sort of thing. I just want to play a good game and tune out and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's one of the reasons maybe video games seems to be like that sort of over the top political messaging seems to be so toxic to the sales of those games is because people play video games to escape that stuff. They just they want to tune it out. And so when it's in their video games, the reaction seems to be a lot more repulsive.
Yeah. And also just to piggyback off of what I just said about like, there's a balance, right? You can have a really just some nonsense in a game, but if you have a really good story, it's still salvageable. And I think there are a lot of creatives, particularly, and I'm sure you guys know this within the Christian sphere, that just want to go for the message, and then they totally neglect the story. It's like, you're correct on what you're saying, but this isn't art. This is really bad.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're propagandizing. Propaganda always ruins the art. It's just
yeah.
Which makes me want to ask about what you're doing with Rippaverse, because they're trying to just make good comics, if I understand it. Let's just make good comics, which I've been following that for a while, and it's one of the few things that gives me hope about the future of I don't even want to say the future of conservatism, but just the future of art, because you've got to have people that say, well, what if we just made great comics?
Yeah.
Come in and rescue.
For the seven viewers that might not know what Rippaverse is, could Jason explain real quick Rippaverse and what?
Well, we've got an insider with us right here. Maybe she can do a better job.
You're right. You are the guest contact. Tell us about Rippaverse and what he's doing. And let's hear about it.
Okay, so quick background. Rippaverse is a comic book company, and it's created by Eric July, who initially is a political commentator, and he's also a frontman of the band called Backwards. So he wears a bunch of hats, and he decided that as a big comic book fan that he decided that he was going to do something because he didn't like the state of the comic book industry. It was just bad writing, bad art, lots of just bad everything. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to do something about this. And I my goodness, I appreciate him so much. And I appreciate even what you guys are doing, because you see the state of the entertainment industry and you're like, let's stop complaining about it and let's actually do something about it. So yeah, they hired me to be like a video producer, a spokesperson of sorts. I don't really say I'm a spokesperson all that much because, you know, people come to me with their drama on the internet, but pretty much I just post like video updates of new products, new characters that are coming out, announcements, like company announcements, things like that. So I don't work with him on like a creative level per se. It's more of just like, I am the face that you see when there's announcements for the company.
You do have a better face than Eric.
Oh, thanks. You know, that's what he said too. I was like, that's good. I'll take it. Yeah.
What are some of the comic book universes that they are that are either out or are coming soon? Or
yeah, well, the Rippaverse is the universe, and so they have a bunch of different characters that all sort of intertwine. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just the Rippaverse, and then he also has Rip Ascend, which is another really great project where he works with creators to get their stuff published. So yeah, that's another thing that he does. But yeah, that's it.
I win for the worst question of the hour.
That's right. You
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
It made me. I'm gonna wrap up all the questions I had because I had a bunch of questions I wanted.
Is there anything on that paper?
Yeah,
no, there's.
I did. Look.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about all kinds of stuff, and I'm not going to ask any.
John writes everything down.
I write everything down. See,
well,
that's his superpower. He
I see.
Write down, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's real writing.
Wow.
See? No, but I wanted to ask you. I don't even know how to ask this question, but like, what right now, just this moment in time, what has sort of got you interested or excited or thinking across just like news, media, pop culture, entertainment? Like, where's your head right now? Like in the zeitgeist? Like, I know that's kind of a weird open-ended question, but hopefully.
Like for me personally, like just.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sort of excited for a new chapter in my life where I want to fight my way out of political commentary, if I'm being honest.
That's great.
You know, this is something that I learned literally like the first year when I started making videos on these hot topic issues is like, whoa, it's really going to be hard for me to get out of here when I want to. And I'm at that stage where it's like, I want to be able to be creative and have that as like my main source of fun and my main income, and still have my various opinions. You know, that's why I really applaud Eric, because like he was really known for making all like the political commentary on his YouTube channel. And now he like totally pivoted. And I'm like, I want to do that. I just don't know what that is yet.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's like a Christian artist saying, you know what, I just want to make regular music and I don't want to be on Caleb anymore. And everybody freaks out, you know.
Like, Caleb drives me nuts.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
But I remember there's been a lot of Christian artists that have you know, they start out making Christian music and then they're like, hey, I want to do bigger, better, sort of normal music, and the reaction is really hostile. Part of it is because you build an audience that expects one thing and they feel like you're turning on them. Same thing when like Taylor Swift doesn't do country music anymore, right? Like it's like you have this a massive amount of country music fans that are really mad, but ultimately she was able to pivot and she's more successful now than she was then. But anytime you pivot out of that those sort of genres that have defined you, it's really difficult. I think Eric's done an amazing job at that, and really important job, because I think we need more storytelling, not political storytelling, not non-woke storytelling, just good storytelling, and that's really hard when everything, and especially conservative media on that end, is all politicized. There's nothing outside of that politicized environment, and so really thankful and appreciative of what Eric's done and his ability to be able to just, hey, we're just gonna do comics.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
And the thing too, also, because you mentioned about like Christian musicians that just want to make, regular music. It's like you can make regular music and still glorify God. Anything that is good came from the Lord. So, it doesn't have to be so overt either. And like Eric's a Christian as well. But you can sort of get a sense of like what his worldview is when you're reading some of these books. And yeah, I think, God made us to be creative, and we should be able to do that and express ourselves in all these different ways. And with me, you asked me, what am I excited for? I'm excited of whatever that next chapter is, because political commentary was never on my to-do list. Okay. Never. I was not anticipating that. So now I feel like I've done my job. Now, what else can I do? And I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, well, you absolutely should not feel the need to have to restrain yourself to the political world, and you should be free to be able to tell whatever stories you want or be creative in whatever way you want. I like to point out that God created the heavens and the earth, and in Romans 1 it says the heavens declare the glory of God, but it's not enough to save anybody. It's not speaking an evangelistic message. It's just beautiful art, right? Yeah. And any art's going to reflect the creator's worldview somehow, but it doesn't necessarily have to be overt, and whatnot. And that's a really important lesson, to be able to distinguish the difference between general revelation and special revelation, and when to use which. It's something I think the conservative and the Christian world has like really failed hard on. But it's why it's so great to see Eric and the Rippaverse really being able to make those waves.
Well, one of the things that we have, I think, willingly been backed into the position where the conservatives are known for what they don't like. They're not really known for what they like. And I go in my local comic shop. When I walk through the door, the owner, he's like, "Oh, hey, Jason, I set aside this comic because I know it's the kind of thing you like, right?" And he's always right. And I know he does it for everybody. He's just awesome. But you come in and it's one of the few places where I go and I'm known for what I like. And he's found me incredible comics that I wouldn't have ever found, but I've spent the time talking to him and getting to know him. And so he knows the kind of comics that I like. That's what the conservatives need to figure out.
Yeah.
What do we like? Like, what are we for?
Right.
And stop having that responsive posture. Because I don't go in and he's not like, "Oh, here comes the conservative guy."
Right.
He's like, "Oh, here's the guy that likes Hellboy." We've got to really figure out how to just make stuff because we love it, make stuff because we like it, not because it has our agenda in it or anything like that. We've just got to start liking stuff again so that artists can make money.
Yeah.
I think the Rippaverse stuff that Eric's doing reminds me a lot about Todd McFarlane and Image Comics and Spawn. And I remember watching the documentary on that, and they just got so beat down by the size of Marvel and DC. They said, we're just going to create our own, just independent sort of thing. And, they walked into Marvel, and I think the story was they walked into Marvel. Marvel was really excited because they left DC, or they walked into DC because they left Marvel, and they got really excited because they were thought DC or Marvel thought they were going to come in there and want to work for them, and they wanted to all hire them. And then they all walked in and they just said, "Yeah, we just wanted to let you guys know that we're starting our own comic book company." And then they left, and they were like, "Did we just do that?" And they did. And but that's how you got image. And so I think what you see, especially like Hollywood entertainment, is you get these big corporate conglomerations. Like they start out independent, just like Stan Lee did with Marvel, and then they become these massive industries. And then what happens is there's a response from the artist to just break out and do your own thing that's free of the corporate regulations and HR departments and all that sort of stuff that just controls whatever the product is that you're putting out. And then, but it's that principle of regulation and deregulation that you see. That's just like we're always coming in and out of that regulation and deregulation circle. So,
yeah,
So
I
wait,
think I was gonna say I think there needs to be more of like a creative response instead of this reactionary. Because as you said,
yes,
Jason, I get this impression that conservatives really love to complain,
Yeah.
which okay,
Yeah.
valid, but what are you gonna do about it?
well, they do. I mean, look how successful Greg Gutfeld is, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, but that's all reactionary. Like,
Right.
if I think if Greg, and I think he's really talented, and this isn't a dig on him, but I think if he were to do like a normal comedy show that's just more in line with classic late night, I don't think it would do as well as his current show, and it wouldn't
Because
have
of the
gained the same
audience.
audience. Right?
Yeah.
It would. It will for sure. Yeah. So
Because he's got the talent to do it.
but that show's really an ensemble show, though. It's not it's unlike
That's
any other
true.
late show.
It's a complete.
Yeah.
It's completely different, but it is in response to.
Yeah.
It wouldn't exist
Yeah.
on its own.
But the secret sauce to that show really is the fact that no one takes themselves too seriously. And whatever you want to say about Fox and all that stuff, whatever, people have their commentary on it. But one thing that's consistent is that no one really takes themselves that seriously, except for a
Right.
couple. There's a couple of people that do over there. But for the most part, they really don't. And they really are playful and they're fun and they jab at each other. And you don't see that anywhere on any of the other networks where there's really a sense of camaraderie, and whether you agree with the politics and any of that. But that art of not taking yourself too seriously is pure entertainment gold. And I think that everybody on this Zoom right now shares in that. And some of the people that are the most successful are those, like have a little bit of fun, be playful, have some humility, like be a little bit self-deprecating, but not to the point where it's just obnoxious, But yeah, so I think, and going to you, I'm going to say it, Vanessa.
Whoa,
First time I used her real name, Vanessa.
chill out, man.
Now we're getting real. But really, when I've watched you, I've seen you in panel discussions. I've seen you in all kinds of environments. The thing that really makes you wonderful is that you are like that. You can say some really great things. You really have a great sense of humor. You're very funny, but you could also get really serious. But through it all, you're not taking yourself too seriously. And I think people really sense that, and we need more of that. So I commend you for that. And I think it's great too, because I think what you do will inspire more young people to think like that. And we need that, and we need to get back into that play and that fun. And I think it's really good. And I totally support you in, moving away from the political commentary, because it's one track and we could all do that, but you've got so much more to offer. And you honestly, if you wanted to do like a stand-up comedy tour, you could do it. I mean, you're that good. Like you could do it all. So I think it's really sky's the limit for you. Whatever you
That
want to do,
requires so much memorization. I don't think I could do that.
I think you actually could, and I'm not saying go be a stand-up comic, but I'm saying you could be if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to write, if you wanted to host, you could do all those things because you really have that gift, and it's a wonderful gift. And so,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Yes, well, you're welcome. Anytime, Vanessa.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, getting to the point that we're all talking about is, I think that people are getting a little bit exhausted on the political commentary. It's sort of an easy crutch. You can get a lot of mileage out of it, but it's like there's so much more, humor and creativity and art. And I think people are really craving it. And I think we're all at an age where we all can remember a time when movies were fun. I mean, remember when you would go see like, you know, The Hangover or Something About Mary or Shallow Hal or all these just stupid, funny, like Adam Sandler films or whatever. And it was like, there was no commentary. There was no propaganda. It was just dumb humor. And it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, and like, when's the last time like a movie like Napoleon Dynamite came out in the theater? You know, like we need to get back into fun and being playful. And I don't know. That's my rant. This isn't my show. What am I doing?
That's a good rant. I agree with you.
My rant's over now. Yeah.
Well, Jason, why don't you give us the trivia question?
Oh,
yeah.
Or the answer.
Or what will you give it? And I got the video for it. So
Okay.
Wait, can we just give GOTHIX? We'll return to your stage name. Just one more guess. Now just think about this for a second. Older man, American, cartoon character. I'll give you one more hint. Okay. It's gonna seem a little weird, but those who know will know. Nanu.
What the hell is that?
That's the worst.
I know the reference, and it's impossible to make that connection.
I don't know.
That's the most obscure reference.
I feel like my age is determining my lack of.
If you're under 42, yes, you're right.
Okay, then all right.
That's obscure if you're under 52.
Hey.
No, but
okay, what is the answer?
Okay, well, so just to remind anybody that missed the question, the NES launched in America in 1985 with 17 cartridge games. But in 83, they launched in Japan with the plan being one cartridge game based on an American cartoon character that they had licensed. But there was a problem with the contract, so they had to replace the characters in the game with Donkey Kong and Mario. And so you got Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong, because of the problem with the licensing contract. The question, though, was what was the original cartoon character?
This is why we call it trivia lesson.
Yeah.
This is why.
So the original cartoon character that Nintendo had licensed for their first game in Japan was Popeye,
played by Robin Williams.
So
also
there you go. So it was
Nano.
Popeye trying to defeat Bluto to win back olive oil, and they ended up quickly making it instead Mario trying to defeat Donkey Kong to win back the princess. I think that became Super Mario, and
this might have done a lot better at a Del Webb community. I have a feeling.
Probably. I thought it was an interesting point.
As like a
that's too easy.
That's what I thought he was going. That's what I thought he was going.
Easy. That's way.
But the Mork and Mindy reference to get to the fact that he starred in an obscure Popeye movie.
I didn't want to make it easy.
That was not.
Yeah, that was because that was like skipping rocks to get across. Like Mork and Mindy, Robin Williams. Robin Williams played Popeye. Popeye.
All right, before we close out and hear the band's song, I just want to remind everybody to go to LOOR.TV. You can subscribe there. Every week, you get credits that you can use to fund movies and TV shows and support indie artists and filmmakers to make more projects like GOTHIX and Florida Lee. And there's a host of there's a lot more content on there now than there was when we were even funding GOTHIX. So go to LOOR TV, check it out, subscribe, and fund indie artists. And Jason, before I hit play on this, what's the band talking about? What's this?
In honor of GOTHIC's favorite kind of music, it's country. It's a country polka.
Country polka.
Hey, and before we go, GOTHIX, this is your chance to give all your shout outs to your handles and how do we find you? How do we find you in the universe?
You can find me on the deep, darkest parts of the internet.
Dark web.
X at GOTHIX TV. You can also find me on Rumble, GOTHIX TV. Just type in GOTHIX TV and you'll probably find me.
All right. I like that.
And,
Okay.
And Linz does get a bronze medal for guessing Robin Williams as the cartoon character, because that's pretty close.
See, someone's paying attention. Thank you, Linz. Thanks for doing that. Hey, I cannot wait to hear this. This is again Gothic's favorite genre, country. Right?
GOTHIX and the Hero's Waltz.
GOTHIX moved into a space so bright, walls painted black, but the vibe feels right. With dreams in her pocket, she carved out her place. Creativity dances in that sacred space. Spin, twirl, let the music play. Heroes saving America day by day. From brain rot's grip, they're fighting strong, while Gotham's heart hums a brand new song.
Wait, what is Gotham?
I think it got confused. It confused itself. Went from GOTHIX to
A
Gotham.
cape in the wind, a shield held high. Superheroes flying through the blue sky. They're cleaning the airwaves, clearing the haze, breaking the chains of these dull, foggy days. And in the corner, what's that I spy? New comic books with tales that'll never die. Spin, twirl, let the music play.
I didn't know if this was that note. Pretty good.
Heart hums a brand new song.
Who's Gotham?
Meanwhile in Kyoto,
Yeah, I know. It's not the band's not having a good
Is
day.
this the
but,
time where we fire the band?
Hey,
They've
I
been
think
so good after 87 episodes.
while the world finds joy, they'll always keep.
Well, anyway, guys, thanks everybody for tuning in to the FOLKLoor Podcast. We really appreciate you. Thank you, GOTHIX, for joining us, and